Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Brenda Lesomtai, Assistant Secretary.
Assistant Secretary.
In the Ministry of
Education,
Culture, Youth Affairs and Sports. You got a long name there.
Long title.
It's good to see you.
Always.
Yes. National Youth Policy. How long you have been trying to get a National Youth Policy now?
Oh, darling.
50 years?
Oh,
it's
no.
Older than the Civil Rights Movement?
No, not that long. The attempts at the National Youth Policy was started way back in 1994, 96. Several attempts were made, and through the various ministers of education, there would be another push and another push, but not really finalized at any given point. When Honorable Walwyn came into office in 2011, one of his priorities was seeing that the National Youth Policy was finally finalized and some sort of a plan to guide our young people would happen. To that end, he created a National Youth Policy Committee.
Yes, I remember them on Spotlight.
Yes, and they, a very bright group of young people. They traveled all throughout the territory. They had meetings with the various groups. They met with people. They did their research, and they came up with a draft. The draft was first submitted in early 2013. Some further work needed to be done. We went back to the drawing board. We actually went back to where we got more information from the stakeholders. We sent out to the organizations and got their take on what they felt the needs of the youth were and all of that. And then finally, in last July, the final draft was submitted to the minister. And in late November, the final draft was sent to Cabinet for approval. It received approval, and in early 2015, which is a couple weeks ago,
yes,
it was laid in the House of Assembly.
Yes, and no, I'm not going to say that. I was gonna be mischievous, but I'm gonna
not today.
Let that go. Now, how old is a youth according to the policy?
A youth we are using the suggestion by the Commonwealth Youth Program, and it is young people between the ages of 15 to 29.
15 to 29.
Between the ages of 15 to 29, you are officially a youth in the territory of the Virgin Islands.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And why a national youth policy? What is the goal?
Well, the policy is intended to guide programs and plans across all the sectors that foster youth development, participation, their education, their well-being, employment, and protection. So we have a plan now that speaks to the youth development across all those areas. It is the plan is for young people to be ready to assume their responsibilities as the heirs of the territory. So the strategies will enable them to become the best that they can be, so to speak. They are future leaders.
So now this is all on paper and it all sounds good, right? Mm-hmm. So how does it work in reality? Now I guess for example, education, everybody knows is a key to achieve
that's our first goal.
Your goal, right? Mm-hmm. So does the policy have a Bill of Rights for young people that are government responsibility to young people that empowers young people to do something about it about the lack of attention to youth if the government don't fulfill its responsibility?
Well, the national policy recognizes the application of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and of our own Constitution, which speaks to the rights of a youth. It's written in there. So we are, we are answerable to those two documents. If we do not live up to that, then they have a right to go after us, because we're promising them that we will do our best to ensure that they receive all these, all the rights that they can across these boards.
So young people 15 to 29
15 to 29.
looking at the government and not seeing what is promised in the national youth policy for them have redress
They have the opportunity to make their voices heard
through what?
through the National Youth Council, which is a priority.
So that's something that you have to
That
form.
is something that we now have to form. We are actually currently forming a National Youth Commission, which is like the umbrella body that ensures that the policy is implemented along with the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports. So the first thing we have to do is create a youth commission. The monies for all the youth development there's monies in the youth commission for the youth council and different programs that they will create.
That comes out of the policy.
That comes out of the policy.
What are some of these programs?
Well, some of the programs, I would say that once the youth council is put in place and they come up with programs or activities for youth within their
then you can
territories.
You have fund. You can
We have funding
through the commission to make those programs
to
a
make
reality.
those programs a reality.
Whether it's sports, tutoring,
no matter what it is, as long as it comes through the youth council to the commission for funding, it's approved. It's there.
How is the youth council formed?
Okay, the youth council. I have to look this one up so I'm clear, because there's a youth council, a youth commission, and a youth parliament. So I don't want to mix them up.
Don't confuse me.
No. Okay. The youth council will serve as the focal point of central representation for individuals and groups. It is an autonomous, non-partisan youth umbrella that represents, promotes, and advocates the collective interest of all registered youth clubs, organizations, and other youth in the territory.
Okay. Well, it's partisan in the fact that they look out for youth interests.
Well,
okay.
Still not partisan.
Okay.
Still not.
It might not have
all the youth.
It might not have a political affiliation, but it certainly has a social affiliation to the youth.
There's a mandate to act on issues that impact on the Virgin Islands youth and to serve as the medium for empowering the young people. This is very important. It will be recognized by government as the official lobby group and representative of the territory's youth.
And how is it formed?
It is totally volunteer.
So persons could volunteer. So the government is going to put out a call.
The youth commission.
The youth commission is going to put out a call for youth to serve on the youth council.
Yes.
So there is not
a volunteer,
and it's not an election or appointment.
No appointment. The young people themselves. This is a total. This is about the youth. The commission is quite different. The commission is like it's a different kind of body. It has professionals on it, lawyers, members of the community. It will have, like, the permanent secretary will act as the ex officio chair of the commission.
So there's a structure.
So the commission is the structure.
The overall structure.
The overall structure that manages and sees the implementation of the policy. Whereas you have the youth council now is just young people.
But the youth council is the representation of the young people
to
the commission to hold them accountable.
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
And they're only young people.
Well, from 15 to 20.
From 15 to 29.
Right. So also old people, you can.
Not even a chance.
I can't get on the youth council.
You can't get on the youth council.
I'd like to get on the youth council.
I would like to mention.
Yes, go ahead.
That the policy has 6 goals, and the first goal, of course, education and training.
Yes.
We have employment and entrepreneurship. It's number 2. This is important. The care, safety, and protection of the youth, sports and recreation, health and wellness, and identity, culture, and social cohesion. And out of all of these, for each one of these goals, there is a framework and the objectives, and then the most important thing, they're policy actions. They're things that need to happen under each one of these goals. Now, to talk about what's currently happening, I'm going to use the example of Goal 1. And Goal 1 says, all youth must have adequate access to quality education and skills that will enable them to achieve their full potential as happy and productive citizens.
All youth.
All youth.
Okay.
Okay. There are 15 policy actions for this goal, but I'll just highlight a few because I can't go through all 15.
Yes.
Okay. The Ministry of Education and Culture is already implementing several of these actions. Policy Action 3. Ensure that educators are highly trained and qualified and remain up to date in their relevant field of education. There's been a lot said by the minister, by the permanent secretary. We are currently training our principals for certification. I'm sure you've heard it in the news.
Yes, I've heard it.
It's an ongoing program. The principals are being certified as we speak.
The
teachers, especially the technical vocational teachers through Heart Trust, NTA, are being trained. So that is one of the promise that is in process. So that is already happening. Then we have Policy Action 5, increase the range of vocational education at secondary and tertiary levels to ensure adequacy for the demands of the labor market in the territory, including increased access to entrepreneurship and financial literacy.
Okay, hold that. We got to go take a break.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll repeat it.
But I want us to go through as many of those as we can, right?
Will do.
Because this is the important part that the Youth Council now, with those goals and objectives and policy initiatives, is going to be responsible for making sure that those things are done by the commission. Isn't that what the role of the council is going to be?
Together.
And I want to show the council where the power lies, because that's what I'm getting at, right? We are going to come back, stay right here. We're going to show where the power lies in this policy right after these words from our sponsors. Keep it live.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and H. Lavity Stout Community College.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Brenda Letsamtai. She's Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth Affairs and Sports. I've just been joined by Paul Hewlett, the Director of Youth Affairs and Sports. Yes?
Good evening. Great to be here.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. And of course, we're talking about the National Youth Policy.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have an instrumental role in implementing the goals and objectives of the policy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your role in a little while.
Okay.
But Brenda was really getting into some serious...
She was. I was pretty impressed. That was
her,
not me.
About the objectives. So just...
I'll go over the goal again.
A couple of more.
I'll go over the goal.
Yeah.
This is goal 1 in the strategic framework of the youth policy. Goal 1 says that all youth have adequate access to quality education and skills that enable them to achieve their full potential as happy and productive citizens.
Right.
And as I mentioned before, there are 15 policy actions for this goal, but I'm just going to highlight a few of them.
Yeah, highlight 2 of them.
Okay. The policy action 5.
Yeah.
Increased range of vocational education at secondary and tertiary levels to ensure adequacy for the demands of the labor market in the territory, including increased access to entrepreneurship and financial literacy. And currently, the new Virgin Islands School of Technical Studies, which was opened last year, along with the Ministry of Education and the HLSCC Technical Vocational Program, provide opportunities for young people to learn a vocation.
So those are some of the things that's already been done.
That are happening
to meet the goals of that policy objective.
Yes.
Okay, go to another one.
I have a different one.
This is the last
one.
Yeah.
Policy Action 10. Provide scholarships and other incentives to pursue studies in areas that are linked to youth policy goals and national development priorities. Well, the Ministry of Education and Culture continues to provide young persons with tertiary education opportunities. Scholarships are awarded to secondary school graduates in the area of 50 plus per year, and the scholarship board approves up to 25 scholarships annually.
Okay, come out of education now. Go into something else.
Football, play sports.
Do sport, do recreation, sports and recreation.
Well, I think sports and recreation kind of speaks for itself, Ajwanka. You know.
You have the policy action.
Well, I mean, I can do it off of my head, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Because if I deal with it, I mean, I know the policy says if I deal with it on a day-to-day basis, the reality is that we have a responsibility to develop our youngsters from a sporting perspective. But what happens is when we start to work with these youngsters as young sportsmen, what we're really doing is developing their character and who they are. Because what we have to understand is that we have youngsters who we want to go to the CRIFTA Games, move on to the Commonwealth Games, move on to the World Games, the Olympics, and all the different games. How many of these athletes become a Usain Bolt? How many of them become, a Taisha Harrigan?
But what does the policy say in helping them to develop their full potential, whatever that potential is going to be? How are you going to get them to develop a policy? Because you're not giving them any spikes. You're making sure that uniforms look good. You're making sure that they have proper training, proper coaching. I mean, they're never going to realize their full potential the way you're going right now.
No, well, I mean,
so what is the policy going to do to make sure that the needs of the youngsters who want to engage in recreation and sport and activities, the athletes, how they're going to realize their full potential through the policy objectives?
Right, but this is where, I mean, this is where the whole, if I go back a step then, right, this is where the Youth Commission, the Youth Council and Youth Parliament come in, where we are developing a structure, right, where the youngsters begin to empower themselves. Mm-hmm. So yes, what you're saying is correct. The way that we're going, this is the reason why the youth policy has been developed. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the bigger islands in the Caribbean are only now putting youth policies together. So our objective is to develop, youth and develop them through by what, in other words, the youth council is the actual youth who are going to be coming together and speaking on their behalf, right?
But I don't know if you understand what I'm asking you. What is the Brenda just told me in education? Mm-hmm. Brenda just told me in education they giving additional training to the principals. They giving additional training to the teachers. They develop the technical vocational school. These are things to help them realize their full potential through education. I want to hear similar things through for sports. Are you going to create a track club? Are you going to hire coaches who know about track and field and who know about training, who know about nutrition, know about diet, who know about ways how high you should lift your leg, how much you should stretch out, how much exercise you need, how much how are you going to help these athletes to become Olympians, my brother?
Right. Well. I mean, again, I didn't really want to go into it.
Just give me a shot. Make a shot.
Again, obviously, what you're trying to get me to break it down into a small thing.
Shot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I look at step 3, it says support and strengthen the role of youth in sports and recreation programs as planners, administrators, and managers.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. So from that perspective, we are developing them. And that's the point I was making. That through sports, we're developing their minds. We're making them stronger people, right? So they become through sports activities. It strengthens them, and
you build character and discipline.
They're building character
and discipline.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
But of course, there's the actual physical activity of sports itself, besides the intellectual. The mental, social, and spiritual mm-hmm. development. There is also the physical development. So, what is being put in place for that physical development, along with the building of the character, along with the building of the discipline and the good spirit.
Right. I think a lot of these things are things which are going to be developed within the youth as we go along within the policy. Again, if I see it says here, provide youth-friendly spaces and safe environments for youth people to meet and socialize,
Okay.
Right there, it says there. Okay.
So the basketball gym is going to be open regularly so that kids who want to go in to play basketball will always have a facility to go play basketball.
Well, it's always been open. What we all have to understand is that it can't be opened all the time and just unless it's being monitored, because otherwise it gets vandalized, it gets different things.
Well,
as we had in if you remember recently, the whole thing had to be redone.
It'll be open at such times where, between such an hours that youth should be able to, you're saying I want to go in
To
there
freely
1 o'clock,
access.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So, but at least it'll be
Correct.
open on a regular time period where youth could know that they have a place where they could go and play and exercise or go on a track or play basketball or play baseball or cricket or whatever sports they choose. The facility is there between certain hours of the day.
Yeah, well, there is an arm that deals with that now. But from what I've seen of my knowledge, it is they do have fairly decent access to somewhere like the complex now. What the youth policy will obviously, what you're asking, it'll probably make it maybe a little more structured, and and we can get more things happening within, let's say, the complex.
Okay.
More events, more activities which develop the youth, and and maybe a larger variety of things, because right now our focus has been certain things like basketball, right? There's table tennis there in the evenings. There's volleyball. There's a volleyball league now that's being used now. So there's some basic things that happen there already. But outside of that, maybe we could have things like glee clubs. We could have reading clubs. Different other things that people will go in there.
A greater variety of activities to strengthen the youth.
Absolutely.
Let's go to health.
Wellness?
Yes, wellness. Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's within
Yeah.
the area, because we're dealing with what's actually in the policy.
Yes.
But it's there.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Establish or expand youth-friendly spaces and community resource hubs across the territory where young people can access information, skills, supports, and services to engage in healthy lifestyles. More or less the same things we're talking
Okay.
about. So some of these overlap.
The overlap.
Okay.
The overlap.
Okay. So being that it's such a big document with so many facets,
Correct.
we can't get to it. But I just want to get
You want to get the meat.
Well, I want to give the viewing audience, and particularly young people that's watching and their parents, the information that there is this policy that has this type of structure.
Right.
And what needs to happen, in my view, is that we need to have access now to this policy.
Okay.
Where is the access to this policy for young people?
Well, there are two ways we're going to have access to the policy. Currently, we are creating hard copies of the policy. We're printing hard copies so people can have it and take with them. And also, the policy will be on the new VI Youth VI website, which is coming on stream shortly. The policy in its entirety will be available and accessible on the Youth VI website.
Okay, so I want to go with it. They have four major goals.
We have six major
Six
goals.
major goals, and those six major goals are
Number one, education and training, employment and entrepreneurship, care, safety and protection, sports and recreation, health and wellness, and identity, culture, and social cohesion.
And under each of those six goals, you have some have 15 objectives.
Up to 15
Up to
objectives.
15
We have
objectives.
objectives for the goals, and then we have policy actions. And what we've been talking about are the things that we're supposed to do to make it happen.
For instance, if I can pick on number 6, which says number 6 is identity, culture, and social cohesion.
Yes.
That overlaps directly with sports, because one of the things that speaks about is national pride. And that is, I found one of the big challenges that we had with athletes going overseas to compete, right? Because I remember taking a bunch of youngsters, 13-year-olds overseas to compete in a cricket event, and none of them knew the national anthem. Not one of them. We ended up having to sing it. Now, what has happened now with the territorial song now coming in, that has strengthened national pride,
Of course.
right? And so this in this way that strengthens and makes everything more cohesive, And now from there now, the youth policy can now work and develop that and take it to another level.
Okay, and I want to deal with the one with the entrepreneurship.
What we're doing right now? No, I can talk off my head about that.
I want to talk about that because youth need education. They need to play. They need good health, and they need to make some. And they need to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what we're already doing. Okay, here's a very good one. Removing barriers to entry of young people into productive employment in the private sector and public service. I am very pleased to say right now the Ministry of Education and Culture is addressing that because we're bringing on stream very shortly Ministry of Education and Culture apprenticeship program, where we are partnering with businesses to get our young people into a job. It's on a 6-month basis, but for that 6 months, the young people are expected to develop their skills so that at the end, learn the beginning of a trade, develop their skills so that they will be retained by that company at the end of that 6 months. So that is literally in process. The Minister, Honorable Walwyn, met with businesses today. The businesses are totally excited about it, and we are definitely looking at ways of getting our young people employed, removing the barriers, getting them trained. The ministry has also been doing developmental workshops. We did the face of the organization. We did the art of food service. We're also planning an entrepreneurship one.
How about getting them into business? It's taking too long for them to get a trade license. You know, the 25. Well, the 25 to the 22 to the 29-year-old who want to go into business for themselves. What you're doing to make it easy for them to go into business for themselves?
Well, we partnered.
What the plans are? You might not be doing it right now, but what the plans are in this document, in this policy that speaks to entrepreneurship.
What I would say while Ms. Ty is just going to deal with that, if I could just interlude and just quickly say that when we speak about education and training and youngsters being able to acquire good jobs by employees, what it also does is it makes these youngsters much more employable, not just with the employer who they're working with, but they may decide they want to switch to another firm down the road, or they may decide that they want to work for themselves. It now means that they have developed a skill that they can now. It's transferable. They can now transfer. Well, there is a word. Thank you very much.
And I want to try to get a sense of how that transition from employee to employer. How is the policy facilitating that transition? Because culturally, historically, and I have to say this for you young people who don't realize it.
Right. I like that. Thank you for the compliment.
That historically and culturally, we BBI are entrepreneurs. You know, I grew up in a community where everybody was an entrepreneur. The fisherman was an entrepreneur, the farmer was an entrepreneur, the boat builder was an entrepreneur. The women had their cottage industries, they had their stores, their grocery stores. Everybody around me was in business. Yeah. You know, I don't know who it had to sell to, but
it wasn't just here. It was before the Industrial Revolution, it was worldwide.
But seriously, we traded with each other. You know, the person who had the fish, who had the fish sold the fish to the person who had the bananas and who had the meat, and you know, and so we were entrepreneurs. Like my father was an entrepreneur. All of the friends I have, their parents were entrepreneurs. So we got it's in our DNA. Entrepreneurship is in our DNA. So we don't just want to have jobs. This is one of the problems that we're having now with our young people. We just don't want to have jobs.
We want to own it.
We want to own the business.
Yes.
So here's what is in the policy. Supporting the establishment of a Virgin Islands Youth Business Initiative to enable young men and women to own, operate, or expand their businesses buttressed by a supportive partnership network. Does that answer your question?
That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking.
It's there, and there's some more about making entrepreneurial education and training programs accessible to youth in and out of school settings.
And we got 15 minutes left, and I wanted and I went through all of that so that we get a sense of what's in the document.
An overview, that's fair.
An overview of what's in the document, and how important it is for persons, particularly young people, for the whole country, to get a copy of this document and go through it so that they know what the promises of the youth policy, the national youth policy, truly is.
True, yeah.
Right? And the persons who would serve as members of the youth council
Correct.
and the youth parliament needs to know this inside out.
Correct. Of
course.
Because when we come back, we're going to talk about how they're going to use that power to get this thing implemented in the way it should be implemented. Keep it locked right here, the Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and H. Lavity Stout Community College.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I know you can tell when I'm excited, right? I'm having a discussion with Ms. Brenda Lesomtai and Paul Hewlett. Brenda Lesomtai, of course, Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Culture, Youth Affairs and Sports, and Paul Hewlett is the acting director of Youth Affairs and Sports. And we're talking about the newly developed, newly laid in the House of Assembly National Youth Policy. And it's a really interesting document, an important document, and I can't stress enough how important it is for you, the people, and young people in particular, to get a copy of this document. Is it online?
It will be online
It will
shortly.
be online, yes, because on the government website. Yes? What's that? VI government.
BVIgovernment.com?
Yeah, VI. There should be VI.
VVI.
It's going to be
There's a
VI.
V in there, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll
Well,
find it.
the government,
not it.
the government website. It'll be on the government website, and they're going to be hard copies.
It's very shortly. It will be
Available.
available to the
Yeah,
public.
and I'm sure they're going to be available at Youth Affairs and Sports.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the ministry as
And the
well.
Ministry of Education. So get a copy of this document and go through it and read it for yourself so you know what the policy is and how that's going to benefit you as a young person between the ages of 15 and 29. That's the official youth age. Youth Parliament.
The Youth Parliament.
Yes, how does that function?
Okay, this here, it gives young people between the ages of 18 and 29 now
Yes.
a voice to bring about changes they want to see in their communities and on key issues in which they have an interest, to create leadership skills that will benefit them and their communities. So now this is where it gives school children and youth an understanding and appreciation of parliamentary practices and procedures, and a range of complementary leadership skills and competencies.
So they're going to give it the training.
They're going to learn how Parliament works. They're going to have...
How are they going to learn that? Where are they going to learn it from?
Well, the way it works is that they actually... shadow is not the right word, but they learn from the real Parliament.
Okay.
So our House of Assembly...
So they'll be looking at the House of Assembly,
Yes.
and that the practices in the House of Assembly will be explained
practices-
in a general way to young people.
The same way the members of the House of Assembly debate issues,
They do a mock.
they
in the Parliament.
It's almost more than a mock, because the goal is that once the Youth Parliament debates an issue,
Right.
it is then turned over to the real House of Assembly.
Okay. Okay.
You got me?
Yes. Now I see what's going on. So the Youth Parliament
Yes.
is actually a vehicle or tool of the Youth Council
Yes.
to debate issues
Correct.
of youth
that are
concern.
yes,
And help the farm policies
Yes.
and make decisions on their own
Correct.
as to the needs of youth to present to the government.
to present to the government, who can then debate
Correct.
themselves, take or leave,
And-
but it's presented
and say
from the youth.
and say the youth have officially developed this issue,
Right.
Correct.
took a look at it,
Ideas come from them.
and it been debated through their parliament and taken a decision that this is what we need to have implemented as a youth.
As it
Okay.
says, documented youth-led research and
Yes.
perspectives for input into policy and decision-making
Yes.
by the House of Assembly.
So that is the vehicle for the use of power by the youth.
That they use.
By
Correct.
the youth.
That's
Correct.
a-
That's the
that's it.
vehicle.
Yeah,
that's
it.
the vehicle
Correct
right
word.
That's
there.
the vehicle.
Correct word.
The youth
That's the
parliament.
vehicle for the youth parliament,
Right.
right? And the real power, now youth, listen to me carefully, the real power lies in your register to vote.
Well, the one over 18.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
youth parliament
it's
is
18. And then say 18.
That's why it's 18. Yeah,
think
that's
that's
it.
why it's 18?
That's why it's 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah,
you're registered to vote.
Yeah.
Right?
No point having
So,
15.
yeah. So the real power is you. So what happened now is the youth have to all register to vote. Every single youth need to register to vote from time they can, 18, to up to 29, and they'll be already sort of vote from the time they're 18, and they be an active member of the youth council and the youth parliament, and then when they make their presentation now to the government about what they want to see happen for themselves, for the youth, they let the politician know that we got 4,000 youth over here behind this policy already start to vote. And if you don't get that what we want, don't even bother campaign.
So this is what we call truly empowering the youth.
This is why you call it, yeah. But unless the youth understand the power
Yes, that
relationship,
they
they won't use it.
Sure.
So I'm making sure, I'm telling you,
Yes.
young people,
Yes.
go out and get ready to start to vote, because that's where the power, and the power is in the unity, because politics is numbers.
Yeah, and the key word is the youth of empowering them, and not abuse of empowering them. The use of empowering
Yeah,
them.
so that way the politicians don't come around every 4 years and say to the youth, oh yes, we're going to build your gym, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and then 4 years later you don't see nothing.
Right.
And so what happened now is when you decide, you see, they ain't going to be the politician come around promising you something. You're going to be telling the politician, based on our parliament, this is what we need, our needs are, and if you come next election, if we don't see you take action on these issues here, don't bother come back.
But
But
you
it's
also
not about,
realize
it's not even about election. It's at any given time. Once they go through the process, because remember I said it is. This is research document. This is not to just come up with this idea. They have to have facts, they have to put it together. They have to put it together, debate the pros and the cons, and then come up with a decision. You come up with a vote.
You're going to teach them the channel. They're going to learn the procedure. They're going to come up with their
And then they're going to
documents,
present.
and they're
But
going to
you
present
keep
it.
talking about election. Election is every 4 years. Every year, every time they do this parliament, they come up and they present it to the government of the day.
Yeah, I understand that. But what I'm saying is they always have them votes there, the 4,000 or 5,000 youth votes in their back pocket. They're letting the politician know anytime during the year, anytime during the term, listen, I got 4,000 votes in my back pocket, don't mess around with this issue here. You see, so this is where the power is. I ain't saying I'm not talking about waiting for every 4 years, but just by the fact that you know,
yes.
that is the fact that the politician know that I have these 4,000 votes in my back pocket as a leader of youth council, the politician going to have to act.
I would like to add a thought as we're talking to the youngsters.
Yes.
I'd add a thought to say that, someone from the youth parliament could eventually become the leader of the country one day.
Absolutely. And what I want to say to the youth, with this new national youth policy, the begging days of youth is over. The begging days of the youth. With this national youth policy here, the begging days of the youth are over. As long as the youth pay attention to what's going on in their country, they follow the procedures, their begging days are over.
So in other words, kudos to this youth policy. I think you're enjoying
I don't know if the politicians know what I'm doing.
I think we need to shake their hands and say congratulations. Well done, my humble servant.
I know the politicians know what I'm doing with this youth policy.
I think they've done a good job though.
Yeah, of course it's a good job. It's a good job for the youth.
Yep.
But
the
youth have to be able to take advantage of the policy. We follow it during the clock.
It would seem so.
I am excited about the policy, obviously. But what triggered this in me really is there was a youth conference here in the BVI a few years ago,
right?
And many youth leaders from the Roanoke Caribbean came to the territory to this youth policy, and they came on Umoja on my radio program, and it just destroyed me to hear them talking about begging the government for this and begging the government for that, and they can't get this, they can't even get money to come on for a youth conference. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what? Don't you already sort of vote? Don't you have your youth council, isn't it? And I'm asking all these questions, and they say, yeah, but, and I'm saying, but you brothers, you're going at this thing you're taking the wrong approach here. You got a wrong perspective. You're the one with the power. You're not using your power.
Yeah.
So I'm here to tell you tonight, this youth policy here empowers you for sure. And if you don't want to use the power, don't blame nobody but yourself.
So as you said, can I give my final words now?
Give your final
I'm dying
words.
to give my
Give your
final
final
words.
words, yeah.
In my final words, I
Yeah.
speak to the youth. I would like you to vote for Kamala Smith.
No,
No.
Listen, listen,
To be on the youth commission.
I passed the age.
No, the youth commission.
To vote for you to be on the youth
commission is different. The youth
Oh,
commission has
oh,
Let me
adults.
finish what I was going to say.
The youth
I'd like
commission
to,
has.
where you want to be, I would like you to vote for
Yes.
Kamala Smith to be on the youth
youth
commission.
commission.
See, that now gives you power to help to guide the youngsters who are going to be part of the rest of the process. Who will end up in youth parliament.
Who chooses the youth commission?
Brandon.
The politician.
Well, and after hearing you speak,
I can forget it.
No, after hearing you speak, I think you need to be the first person on the list.
I can forget
Surely.
it.
But I want to thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the Youth Commission.
On the Youth Commission.
I think you've done a great job. I don't think there's any doubts in any youngster's mind now what this youth policy is all about. It's all about empowering you, the youth, and the youth. The Department of Youth Affairs and Sport will be here to help to assist, to guide you as part of the Youth Commission, along with Edgewenka, to get you to where you want to get to. So again, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
As always, Cromwell, thank you very much for the opportunity to break down, bringing the youth policy to life for the young people and the audience at large out there. It's a big document, yes, but it's filled with some exciting actions, with the best being the commission, the council, and the youth parliament. And yes,
all the good things is promising to do.
it's promising for our young people. So read it when you get it and be a part of it.
You got to read it for sure. Yeah, that's that. You got to know what's in there.
Absolutely.
You got to know what's in there. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. And I had no idea that that was what it was about. I got the document. I didn't have a chance to go through it because everything's happening so fast for me. But now that I had a chance to talk about it, I'm really excited. And I'm certainly looking forward to assisting any way I can.
Absolutely.
You know that. But another politician
Looking forward to having you.
another politician they want me on the youth.
I wouldn't say. I don't see why they wouldn't want you.
That's my call to me. That's my call to me.
I don't see why.
Yes, my brother. Thank you very much. Spotlight, of course, is seen every Tuesday at 8 p.m. here on JTV, channel 55, and rebroadcast on Sundays at 2:30. You can also catch up on all the spotlights you've missed or any part of tonight's program that you haven't seen at jtvlive.net. You can like our Spotlight Facebook. You could participate in any discussions that come up on Facebook, or you could create issues of your own. Mention whatever guests you would like to see interviewed, the topics you would like to have discussed, and we'll be happy to accommodate you. I'm Edgewenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Communications.